on there.
Oh God!
Hey guys, welcome back to the WODprep podcast. I'm your host,
That's what I
CJ
get.
Palma, with the better host, Claire Bays, and the guest of the hour are Dr. Tom McCoy and Jenn Pishko.
Good.
Did I nail it?
Yes.
Nailed
Let's
it.
fucking go.
It's a good start. Good start, CJ. Way to go.
We're so proud of you.
You're
Hell
winning
yes.
now. You're
All
ahead.
right. Hey guys, what's up?
Hi.
What's happening?
How's your weekend?
Pretty boring.
Pretty
Not
boring.
a lot going on.
Haven't talked to anybody.
Haven't talked to
ho-hum,
anyone.
actually.
I know you're talked out for sure.
Not yet.
No?
Like it's rising, but I think what happens is every time you talk to somebody new, their energy has been really good, honestly.
That's good.
And so then it's not like pulling teeth to have these conversations. Like people
Sure.
want to talk and learn stuff, and
Right.
it's been great.
Just like jump right into it. So has that been a progression?
Yeah.
Like initially, it's like almost feels like it might feel like door to door, like cold call, like sales. You know what I mean? Where it's like, here's this amazing thing, but
Yeah.
wait, there's more. But wait, there's more. And we're going to talk all about it, and about how you can join medical society and how you can join community care and,
Yep.
and those things. And so, but it really does sound like the first set of knives I ever wanted to buy in the infomercial when I was like 16, and they like cut the
Ginsu?
steel.
Isn't that what it
I don't
was?
know, whatever
Ginsu
it was. They
knife.
like cut the steel rod with this knife. and
Yeah,
I was
something
like,
absurd.
and it's like it was always too good to be true, and it was because it was fake. But this isn't, and community care is
Right.
really something wickedly special and like generationally changing, right? I mean, like it can really change us in this community and
from
society.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, definitely.
yeah. So yeah, I don't think that was a question. That was just me fanboying about this thing, and it was super cool. And the progression of it. So like, have you felt that like when you started? Was there like a lot of like, and then now it's kind of like take my money.
I think that this experience this weekend, the energy in interacting with everyone that is here has been a very eye-opening kind of checkpoint on where we are in the process. Because a year ago, we would have people coming up to this. What is this?
Are you double mic'd?
Yes, he is.
I am.
No, yeah. I was like, what is on your chest? And I was
Yeah,
like, wait, he's listening. All right,
Why
sorry,
have-
continue.
Why have one when you can have two?
I have 3.
But for us now, right, for this weekend, it's everybody knows.
Yeah.
Right.
They know, they understand the ecosystem, they understand the pieces that make it up. It's okay, how do I put this together for my affiliate?
Mm-hmm.
How do I roll this out to my members? How do I leverage this to decrease my own costs and expense? How do I hit the opt-out button, right? How do I put all these pieces together?
Right.
And it's just fantastic, right? Because we don't have to spend all the time kind of explaining those
Yep.
baseline functions because everybody gets it now.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Which
been a lot of go ahead.
Nope.
As I say, it's been a lot of okay, I just have one more question, right? Or I knew you were going to be here, so I just wanted to get FaceTime, you know what I mean, to cross the last T or dot the I and then be able to move forward with whatever it is. Community care, yes. Taking the biomarker option that we have for labs and sticking it on their website and talking to new members about it, and just solidifying ideas I think that have been discussed and talked about in a number of ways and platforms over the last year and a half, and that's definitely been like the energy is like, okay, I'm gonna do it now, like I'm ready, like here to go. So,
Yep. Yeah, it was funny. Literally last night, we finished out the day with Sousa, Bryson, and Taylor, and Bryson was 100% harassing Taylor about the fact they hadn't yet signed up. It was really
That's
funny.
amazing.
Yes, yeah. He was just like, because he's like, I'm going to, and he's like, because he has. And so anyway, their own flavor of that, but that was funny. I also just would like to mention that your shirt is phenomenal. It's really good.
Uninsured.
If you sign up, you get one. To package.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Yep.
That's an important
And I do
thing,
need
though.
to. I have not. So I need to be peer
Well,
pressured as well. Yes.
So I think to your point, right? Like, whoa.
He's just
She's-
smiling at me like, that's
Oh.
true.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was gonna say like the uninsured thing. I think was, the word that maybe it was getting people's attention or for whatever it's worth, but it's like now a sign of empowerment, right? It's like, okay, I can proudly know and understand that I am opting out of dysfunction and I am like promoting the benefit of being uninsured in a system that does not align with our methodology as CrossFitters, and definitely not ones that are focused on health in the long term.
Yeah. So let's walk it back. And it's like, Tom, who are you? And, you know, like what do you do in this space? And then Jen, who are you? And then like let's talk about like how Medical Society came to be, and then which I assume community care was built upon that, or one preceded the other, or we'll figure it out. You tell us the story.
Yeah, so I think, you know, as someone who came in through, you know, Greg's effort to pull more healthcare providers into.
Is that how you got into CrossFit?
Yeah, through the medical
L1?
No,
I
walked into an affiliate and fell in love with CrossFit.
How long ago?
We were trying to figure this out. I think I'm a newbie, so it was like 16 or 17, so not that long ago. But
that's 10 years.
I mean,
almost 8, 9,
you know,
10.
relatively speaking, not that long. So, but very quickly, right, found out about the MDL1 process and that there was, you know, these DDCs and the interest in doing that. And so for me, that was extremely exciting because it was a way for me to combine my passion for medicine and what I knew was dysfunctional with the system with, you know, what I knew worked. And then, you know, getting to be part of, you know, the MDL1s and being there because I live really close to Scotts Valley, so just go as much as possible to be there and hear everybody speak. And you know, it was a natural progression for us as things transitioned, and after the shutdown, that, you know, there was a real hunger for that on the healthcare professional side, and I think the community, you know, needed that as well. And we had an opportunity to get the ball rolling again, so that's what we did.
Cool, awesome. And so, what's your backstory? There we go.
Well, let's see. I opened the affiliate. We got our LOR in December of 2014. So
What's your
it's
affiliate's name?
Chagrin Falls CrossFit outside Cleveland, Ohio. So I've been doing that for a while. Kind of went into it with the mindset of like, this is what I'm doing. Like, this is my career. This was not going to be a side hustle. I had no other things going on. It was like full-time coach, run affiliate, do the whole thing. As for whatever that was, if it was a good idea or not, here we are. But so that started, that's what I've been doing. I have my master's in nutrition education. When Tom moved to my area, he joined Chagrin Falls CrossFit. I was doing some work with our members and stuff, just like on nutrition and understanding the importance of that bottom part of the pyramid, which I think we can all agree should be referenced on a regular basis. So then we just started working together. Again, his background as a physician, having had the MDL1, doing a little bit of this work, I think, at your old affiliate too, kind of before we moved. And so we just started to serve our community in very small ways. And then from there, it just grew, you know, bigger and bigger in terms of, okay, people were coming to see Tom for basically lifestyle medicine and then making their way into the affiliate. And at the same regard, you know, people were at the affiliate and being like, my doctor doesn't understand that I want to be healthy and not be put on, you know, medications and stuff. And so then they were able to start seeing him as a physician. And so then it grew from there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So Tom, when did you move to Chagrin? Is Chagrin a city?
Chagrin Falls is a city.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. It's a suburb outside Cleveland.
Okay.
2021. Yeah.
So,
okay. So this relationship is way younger than I thought it was.
Oh, okay.
I anticipated that like you started there.
No,
and that's like where.
No.
Okay.
I lived in the Bay Area and worked at a county hospital out there for a long time. That's you know, knew Craig and trained at Diablo, and then across from Walnut Creek, other folks out there forever.
Cool.
So I was there for 25 years. I'm from Ohio. I grew up in Southern Ohio. And so, you know, we moved back. Our kids were at that age. We needed to flex. My wife's family is from outside of Chagrin, so it made sense for us to come back.
My family's in Trotwood, in case it like lays anything out there for you.
I don't what.
Oh,
Where's
no.
that?
Do you know where Trotwood
No.
is? Oh, Trotwood
No.
is like outside of Dayton. It is like
It's outside of
Sticks?
Dayton?
No, it's not the sticks. It is just like basically like the lowest income area in like all of Ohio, which is something.
Interesting because I feel like I would know that.
It's not far away from my hood.
No,
though.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, that's where I live. I was just there when we came out to Columbus. I stopped in.
Yep.
And went and got pizza at some like the famous place there. I can't even think of the name of it.
In Columbus?
No, it's like they have a few outside of Dayton. I can't even think of the name of it. Anyways, so you started doing that, and so when did Medical Society, like when was that born? I mean, obviously it's been reborn 4 times.
Yeah,
maybe more like
in
if you look at like every
in
piece.
different iterations.
Yeah. Like
I
and so
think
to this
the
point
concept,
of it now.
yeah, I think the concept has been something that all of us wanted to actualize for a long time, and in different forms. Right, there have been a group of us on the medical professional side and on the affiliate owner, coach, and member side who know that this can be the future of health and healthcare in our society.
Mm-hmm.
I think with where HQ was at the time that we started, they didn't have the bandwidth or the expertise, to be able to do it themselves.
Okay.
And we were stupid enough to say, we'll do it all for nothing. Just get the hell out of the way.
Sure.
And so they
Well, they did.
I said, okay.
Which is new.
Yeah.
That's a new concept. So when did that start?
That process started probably the end of 22 into 23. And I think it really came from just trying to understand the integration that we had between the affiliate and the practice, and what did that mean for us, and could that be something that could help affiliates in other places start to learn how to actually bridge the gap in meaningful ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of got the framework going. And I think it was right around the games in 2023 we got to work on putting it all together alongside with the support of HQ in a very big way, I think, to kind of allow us to step in and take the reins for this development part and iteration of, the way that health can be executed in the affiliate.
Sure. Okay. And so medical society was born. And so how does that progress into community care?
Yeah. I mean, community care was really the most recent piece of the ecosystem.
When did you first start publicly speaking about community care? Like within the last 12 months?
Yeah.
So I'm like, this thing, people knowing about this is like not even a year old.
Right.
Yeah.
It dropped literally a year ago at the Austin Summit, maybe, a year ago, the Austin Summit gathering.
Yeah. The first thing that we wanted to do when we put the medical society together, kind of christened it, was, create a space for healthcare providers from all different disciplines who valued and practiced CrossFit to connect with community members. I think all of us have had the experience of going to a provider and they don't understand our philosophy of life or the methodology, or we just get told we're fine and we're ushered out. And there's no sort of understanding or to stop,
which is for sure the number one thing.
And so the first
don't do that.
Never squat again.
Right. The first thing we did was put the directory together. Right. And so this is an international directory of healthcare providers, of physicians of 30 different disciplines, and then all other denominations of healthcare professionals, PTs, OTs, occupational therapists, chiros, who are licensed, board certified, but they also had a CrossFit credential, right? So the first step was putting those two parts of the community together so that they could find each other and support each other in their healthcare journey. The next piece that we feel really strongly about, because this is about returning ownership of the journey to the individual, right, and giving tools and resources for the CrossFit community to take control of their healthcare journey, was access to data, right? Which biomarkers and understanding where you are on the continuum is very important. And so there's a lot of roadblocks, used to be, in between an individual and the community actually getting the information that they need so that they can make informed decisions about their health. And having worked with, a large part of my practice is people who do CrossFit, right? We can get sometimes lulled into a false sense of security that everything is great because a lot of us look really good on the outside.
Yes.
I knew nothing about that.
And
Which will be interesting, and we should talk about it.
But all of us need to take a look under the hood every once in a while,
Yeah.
right? And so providing people the ability to do that, I think, is really important. And I could not be more excited about where that is now and what the experience is like for people when they get biomarkers through the CFMS and the platform, and how they can interact with it, and they can ask it questions, and it gives them answers without needing to be dependent on a dysfunctional system.
Sure.
So that was a big piece.
Yeah. So let's break that down. So they get blood work and they get all these biomarkers from that. And so they go to where do they go to sign up to get that done?
Yeah. So everything lives and breathes through the CrossFit Medical Society's website. Education lives there for providers and trainers and coaches if they want CEU or CME to kind of like fulfill their needs for continuing education. That's
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
There's a biomarker hub that houses the panels that you can order direct to consumer. You go, you pick the one that you want out, you purchase it, you get the requisition. You can go to a LabCorp location anywhere in the United States and get it done. We actually bring a phlebotomist into our affiliate once a month, and she comes in on Thursdays and she draws whoever needs their blood done, and then she takes it to LabCorp for us. It's just one less point of friction, and it's a community event, and it's really nice. We do that. So that can be done through the Medical Society, and Community Care also lives there too. So all the information, the way to sign up and do all of that exists all on the platform,
Yeah,
on
cool.
the website.
So why they look good until you look under the hood? What are you looking at with these biomarkers? Because, for example, people think blood work, I'll just go to my general whatever primary care and get that. But what they're looking at versus what you're looking at is not really the same thing, and the way that you're looking at it is also different, right?
And that's such a good question. You can run with that. But that's
so
really
all
important.
of the individual labs or biomarkers that are included on the panel are listed on the website. And there's a foundations panel that bang for your buck is the best thing on the market. So if you aren't a member of Community Care and you just want to get the biomarkers, it's $199 and you will really get everything you need to have a deep dive understanding of cardiovascular health, your metabolic health, your hormone health, and the micronutrients that really matter. Very high yield information.
That's a wild price.
It is,
Yeah.
because if you were to just like go retail wise, and even if you were to shop around, you're talking anywhere $750 or more, right at the low end.
Mhm.
And that's for other D2C companies. If you try to go to your doctor,
they won't
it's
even.
well
they're
over,
not gonna-
well
yeah.
over $1,000.
And insurance won't. And if you had insurance, it wouldn't even pay for
No,
the.
it
Well, I would
anyways.
imagine
Right.
if you took,
Which
okay,
is
so
the
the
craziest
biomarkers
thing.
that you test on that 199, if you were to take that exact panel and take it to your primary care, whatever, and say, hey, I want you to do, like, would they even
do it?
Would they even do it?
No, they wouldn't do it because they
Right.
would tell you they don't need it, mostly because
They think they don't.
they wouldn't
Well, they don't understand
understand
it.
how
Yeah.
to interpret it for
Right.
you, and that's embarrassing for
Super
them,
embarrassing. Yeah, of course.
right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
their defense mechanism is, why would you need that? You don't need that,
Right.
right? Which,
Yeah.
if you ever get that kind of response from your physician when you ask a question or you're concerned, you should back out of the room very quickly. Like if you are working with somebody on your healthcare team, you should be able to ask a question. If they don't know the answer to that question, then the response should be, I don't know. Let's find that out together, or I know where we can get that information together. You
Mhm.
should never be belittled or made to feel silly for asking questions.
100%. So what are the parameters to be able to join? So someone's asking, do you have to be a certain weight, height, which I assume is like the question.
Are we talking about community care
For community
specifically
care
now? I'm assuming,
specifically,
yeah,
okay.
because to just reiterate, like anybody can go to the Medical Society's website and order labs,
Yes.
right? Like there's the barrier to
Okay.
entry to that is your capacity.
You just
to
went to the
order them.
website.
Correct.
And
Yep.
it's free to join the
Yep.
medical society. So you
Right.
can get the newsletter, access to the directory,
Cool.
all of that
Yep.
stuff is free.
Yeah. So in terms of community care, non-smokers, right? So that's the major kind of no-go there. And then we actually do not have a BMI restriction on that, for the reason that the CrossFit community
We don't fit the
we
bubble.
don't,
No.
right? Like, I don't know. Aren't you obese?
No, I'm almost obese.
I'm
not
overweight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
overweight.
Look at you two, obviously.
I mean, right? But
Because we're so
talking-
jacked.
but that's a completely different conversation
Sure.
too, right? Because we're talking about our metabolic health in that regard, and we just have more muscle mass than the
Yeah.
normal
It's a
population,
height
and
and
it's
weight
it's
calculation,
totally yeah.
Right. And I've always done this, right? Like I went through the phase of like, oh, BMI is important in like undergrad and exercise phys. And then it was like, oh, BMI is substantially less important. And now I'm like walking it back. But like for 99% of the population,
Correct.
it is an incredible like defining point of health. Like
Yes.
it is for not us.
If you do not exercise,
If you have
It's
zero
fine.
exercise, right. Yeah, exactly.
if you do
Which
exercise,
is,
it's not fine.
right, which is 99% of the population, right?
Correct.
And so it's an interesting
And this
one,
is
right?
why we
Yep.
needed to build our own system.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we aren't. We're
For
we're
sure,
the 1%.
right? Yeah, exactly, right. And like our in like digging into Claire's question, like our biomarkers, what is normal is
I love
is-
that you brought that
is
up.
different,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
not the standard, and it is for a lot of it,
Right.
right? Like there's things that like no matter what you are, it should be X, right? Like and but like there's I don't know, I can't pull one off the top of my head, but I do know that's a sliding scale
Mhm.
based on you
I can
as a
pull lots
person?
off the top.
I know. So like that's a good point, right? So like biomarkers, like what's a traditional blood panel look like? Like give us like the
So,
5 most common things.
Well, it depends on if we're talking about what would be covered by insurance for
Yeah,
screening
let's do that.
purposes, it's going to be predicated on your age,
Okay.
and other medical issues, right? But for most of us, if we're in our 30s or 40s, you can pretty much get a sexually transmitted disease test and maybe a CBC. Until you get over 40 or 50, most insurance programs won't cover a lipid panel.
Is there a sliding scale for STDs? Is that different for CrossFit athletes?
Yes, you get everything. No, but it's very, very minimal. And what is covered is really not insightful or helpful to establishing or creating health. What we've created through the visualizer, through the biomarker panel, is our parameters and ranges are actually much more appropriate for our population in the CrossFit community. So they're a lot more strict. So I always tell folks, when you get your LabCorp results and it says that a fasting insulin of 21 is normal, and you go to ours and that's in the red flag zone and completely scary, you should know that it's very scary, right?
Mhm.
A fasting insulin in the teens or in the 20s is not normal. It never should be for us, right? And so our parameters, whether it's certain lipid parameters or metabolic parameters or on your other blood counts, all of those things are going to be tighter for optimal, right? Because we're on the continuum, right? And so we're not just opting for not being sick.
Yep.
We are moving towards fitness all the time.
Cool. Okay, so give me an example, because I want to know, right?
Mhm.
So like what are like the 5 big from like a traditional like workup, right, for in your 50s?
Yeah. So generally, what you would get,
so like
standard stuff that we approve.
Yeah.
Like you
So
would get
what are the 5 biggest? What are the 5 biggest differences, like that you've made the adjustments on? Like the biggest ones that are like
To
this
tighten
is
the
very
ranges,
normal.
you mean?
Yeah. Like
Okay.
what are the biggest ones that you've adjusted for us?
Sure. Well, the first thing is that you actually get to have your hormones checked.
Sure.
Which will not be done for the most part unless
Yeah.
you're significantly symptomatic or even be approved by your primary care provider.
Mhm.
In a typical setting in insurance, usually would not cover unless you're quite symptomatic. And the testing that we use, right, the LCMS testing, it's the highest quality that you can get, where a lot of other companies, right, are using less accurate testing that can be falsely elevated and give you an unclear picture because they're marking up the price, so they want to use the cheapest version of the test. So hormones is a big one. Typically, if you're evaluating metabolic health, most of the time you're only going to get A1C and a fasting sugar. Understanding your fasting insulin is extremely important.
Okay.
That's the canary in the coal mine for your metabolic health, right? When you're on this continuum of metabolic dysfunction, pre-diabetes, diabetes, the first thing that you see, right, is an elevated fasting insulin, because essentially that's telling us that your pancreas is having to work harder, pumping out insulin to keep your blood sugar and A1C still at normal levels. But you can have metabolic dysfunction for years before you'll start to see your fasting sugar elevate and then ultimately your A1C.
Got it.
So you get a much earlier insight, and then when you need to make a correction, right, it's much easier, right? It's less disruptive to your lifestyle because it's more subtle. It's not
Sure.
as drastic, right? There's not as much that you need to do. So those are really big and important ones. The micronutrient analysis is extremely important. People would be very surprised at how many people are iron deficient or have relative iron deficiency with percent saturation and ferritin.
Is
So
that
those are
different
huge
from
pieces.
like our? Sorry to interrupt.
No.
From like a traditional population to our population, is that range different?
Is
The
the
iron
range?
Like
Well,
the deficiency, like is that
it isn't, but typically it doesn't get tested.
Okay.
And for an athletic population, right, there is evidence looking at that even before you're anemic from iron deficiency, you're going to have decreased performance, right, if you're relatively deficient, right? So if your ferritin is below and then your percent saturation is below a certain level, we work with a lot of professional elite athletes, like that can impact performance. And when you're working in percentage points, that can make a big difference.
So this same person asked again. So non-smoking, Jen didn't finish. It doesn't answer my question if I can join. I'm 6 foot but overweight. Not fit. What's the criteria for joining? Was that it?
right now, anyone with a CrossFit protein credential level 1 or higher can
Okay.
join. So that's going to be
family?
step 1. And family.
Yes, and
The
family.
primary
And that
person,
person's family.
Cool.
and the kids, right? So a primary on account that has a level 1 or any other type of coaching credential through CrossFit can join community care.
Okay.
In terms of qualifications to join,
So non-smoker.
non-smoker.
That's it?
That's it. Right.
That's it?
I think the question then becomes: are you somebody that's coming into community care with some pre-existing conditions, and what are those pre-existing conditions, and are you still working through treatment for them? Because there is a waiting period if you have something from a pre-existing condition standpoint that would be able to be submitted to the crowd for funding, and it's 2 years.
Got it.
Right. But you can still join, and if anything else happens, or you need, medical care in any other way, right,
Sure.
eligible,
Got
right,
it.
can still get funded. It's just that specific condition could not be supported.
And there's a window there. So like, say I have a vascular event and I am 2 years removed from any flare up, then I am now not considered pre-existing condition, or it is?
No, it would be a pre-existing condition. You'd have to be a paying contributor for 2 years before the crowd would fund further events that come up.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
So if I was, like non-symptomatic, or like no event happened in that chain and I became a 2 year, then it's covered.
Correct.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep.
I'm totally joining.
CJ's a liability.
But I do, I do
joining.
think that's, those nuances are important. And that's why, we want to make sure that everybody feels really empowered and educated about their decisions to either opt out of traditional insurance if they want to make a move, right? And that's why we want to have conversations with people. There's a whole education team with community care that can take any of these individualized questions and kind of go down the checklist with you, because we understand like these are big decisions that people want to make. And, we say this all the time, but CrossFit can be for anybody, but it might not be for everybody. And I think that that's a totally fair conversation to have. And, you kind of have to do, your own evaluation of what's going to be the best thing for you.
Yeah.
So this is like, sorry, go ahead.
You might finish that thought because I'm going to take us somewhere else.
Okay, no, I want to stay here. Just for a second. And so this seems like a pretty robust system already. 365 days. How do you get to this point? Is there like a parent company? Right. Okay, there is. So you guys, so the like I've heard you guys talk like the Bulldogs and the people that are beating down the prices and all that stuff.
Yep.
There's a team that, and so how does that work from you guys? So like money comes in, you pay part of them, it goes to community care. Like, is there like a sharing thing with like a much larger organization that's happening?
So we are powered by Crowd Health.
Crowd Health. Okay.
They have been doing this for a long time.
Do they do a lot of like the Christian share plans?
No, this is a crowd-funded financial tech company. It's different than Christian health shares or other types of that stuff. Similar idea, and the fact that we're all chipping in outside the insurance system to help pay for each other's bills, but operationally speaking, it just runs differently.
Okay, got it.
There's no holding of any money. You're not overpaying and it's sitting somewhere. Like you're literally paying that month. We're all paying for what we have to pay, and it's all transactional. Like our hands are off of it. It just goes where it needs to go to the individual.
Which is why the monthly is capped, but it will vary month to month what the total is, because we only take what is needed for the health events for the community for that month.
Right.
So you never pay more than $200 a month, but the average for the past couple of years has been $140, $150
per person.
Per
Correct.
person.
Yeah.
But isn't it capped like total people? Like, no, like I mean, like each person is up to 200. So if like I have a family of 4, it would be 800.
No, there's family rates for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
so like I'm a family of 4, right? And I've never paid more than $500 total for a month for my perks and membership and my crowdfunding contributions.
Got it. Okay. And so how does you guys are seeing people in the gym and you're like, we need to like how does this spark happen?
Well, I think you're talking about it now are you talking about how does the affiliate owner roll this out to their community?
No, how did you guys get to like, how are you just like, we need to like, how did you reach out to crowdsource?
They reached out to us.
They reached out to us. I mean, here's the awesome thing about this, right? It's like when you're moving in the right direction and following what you know to believe is right, like the universe puts you in the right place with the right people at the right time. Andy, the founder of Crowd Health, was a successful entrepreneur. He had an experience with his health insurance company for, a procedure that should have been covered for his kid. Specialist said it needed to be done. He tells his story much better and has told it before, so you should check it out. But essentially, he got stuck with a bill that he shouldn't have.
Sure.
And he's like, you know what, we can do this better. And they've been doing it for years, and they've been doing it. The individuals who are early adopters for Crowd Health are people who understand that the system is dysfunctional and they're ready to opt out. We are a natural fit for that. right? We
Yeah,
are
of course.
atypical when you look at the cross section of American society, right? Because we value hard work, determination, self-responsibility, independence, right?
Mhm.
It's a really good fit for us. And so that started conversations of what it would look like to bring this to our community. And it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And we went
Okay.
from there.
Cool. Awesome.
It's
Are you guys allowed to share like numbers and like how many people are doing it? Like how many people are currently part of
The
it?
crowd's almost to 13,000 people and growing.
Fuck yes, there's
Like-
13,000 L1s on
Like
this thing.
no, that's everybody,
Including
like
families.
in crowd, but in crowd health in
In
general
crowd health.
too,
Okay,
right?
and
So it's
not
a
just community care.
correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Got
we have a CrossFit cohort that is growing every month.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the past
Exponentially.
few months have been very
And so
significant.
there's like similar crowdsourced health support like under this umbrella that are in different avenues of whatever, right? Like
Like
it's not
walks
just
of life,
community-
you mean?
Yeah. Like community care is just one piece under the umbrella. There are something similar in a different avenue. Like in a corporate health or
we're
something
really
like
the
that.
only group that they've done this for because
Okay.
of how we align philosophically. They
Got
have
it.
smaller crews that they've done, but we're the only organization that's this big that's
Okay.
outside of
Okay,
the general
cool.
fund that's done in
All
this
right,
way.
so we get to
Yeah.
steer the ship a little.
We do,
Okay.
and we have some
Oh,
really
sick.
like
Which-
special perks just for being
Right, yeah,
CrossFitters,
that
which is really
seems-
important
that
because
does
as
seem
we
important.
grow, because
Right.
our cohort is
It's gonna-
so
it's gonna boom.
exceptionally healthy,
Mhm.
our costs will come down even more. And this cycle is a great case in point, right? Because when you sign up, you get a foundations panel included
Uh-huh.
in signing up, so you get biomarkers. If your fasting insulin is 5 or below and your CRP is sub 1, you get another 20%
off what you pay for all of next
for
year.
community care, right? So we get to further incentivize, right, the health that we've already created by how we live to bring our
And
costs
there's
down
more.
over
It's the
time.
knife thing. You guys
I
are
know.
liars.
I'm telling
You're
you, man.
not true. It's knife. It'll cut through steel rods. I'm telling you.
It is just remarkable that
I know,
something
it's
is actually
crazy.
focused on genuine health. Like this is outright remarkable. So of course, the pushback of like, there's got to be a
Gotta be a
we
catch.
have we have those conversations all the time,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
I
you
think
have to.
one psychologically we have to look at the type of conditioning that we in the US have just been indoctrinated with about why we have to do certain things in and around institutions and health insurance and other types like that's where we're coming from, right?
We have been societally gaslit into thinking that we have to participate in basically supporting a disease economy, right? By being extremely healthy individuals that don't utilize this system to prop up other corporations and companies, right, that leverage disease to make money. We don't have to do that anymore, right? We have the ability to step outside of that system,
Stick it to 'em.
right? No, it's very true,
straight up
right?
stick it to them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't want to
100%.
fund your
And everybody
manufactured disease.
We're also
Yeah.
passionate. And Tom's just like,
everybody gets caught up on the fact,
you
right?
ever
that
go up
thinking,
and down?
oh, insurance is guaranteed, right? It's going to cover all my costs.
No, it's not.
Their
No, not even close.
their business, right, plan of action is to actively delay, right, repayment of anything you submit or find any way that they can to deny
Right.
covering what you've been paying into at your most vulnerable time when you need it the most, when
Mhm.
you're sick,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And if they can, drive you into despair so that you give up a year later without paying things back, or find a way to give you an out-of-network bill that's going to put you on a payment plan for a hospital, 3 months later when you think things are done, they're going to do that to you.
Yep.
And we're told, right, continuously our whole lives that this is the way that it is and this is the way that it has to be, and we're
Right.
a bad person if we don't participate.
Right. 100%.
And that's
Yeah.
it's just inappropriate.
Fear mongered to the
Yeah.
nth degree
Yeah.
into it. So I just want to talk about it operationally. So like, all right, I have community care.
Yep.
I pay for 3 individuals,
Yep.
and it's whatever, $300
Yep.
a month. Okay. I pull my hamstring. I
Yep.
go to physical therapy.
Yep.
Right. What does that look? My physical therapy, like, what does that look like? That copay or that like cash price?
What your responsibility is.
Yeah. Walk me through
Yeah.
what that is. I know my premium. That's what we've talked about. That's our monthly cost,
Yep.
right? And so, do I have a copay? How much is that? What's the deductible? Does it work like that? Like, walk me through those.
I mean, a couple things to say, right? It's not we don't use the word premium.
Right.
That's
We
a
don't
bad
use the
word.
It is a
insurance,
bad word.
right?
I know.
So you have a member commitment that's $55 a month, right?
Okay.
So when you sign up and join, you pay that $55 a month. That gets you unlimited urgent care telemedicine. So like 24/7 urgent care, you can call for whatever.
Okay.
Right? It gets you access to mental health care coverage through BetterHelp that's also unlimited. It gets you biomarker panel. It gets you $300 towards a wellness
Why are you
visit that you can
laughing?
use.
He's
towards
the
it.
knife
There's
salesman.
knives.
He's not.
That's just
I am very
foundationally.
focused.
That's foundationally just comes with being a part of the community.
Okay.
Right. Now, on top of that, right, when you have an injury and need to utilize it, Jen, I'll let you run with it.
Yeah. So, I think we're self-pay individuals, right? And so there's going to be things that come up where we're deciding, okay, should we start a health event or should we not start a health event? And it's like, if I'm going to go, to get my hamstring checked out, and I'm going to say, I don't know, how'd you hurt your hamstring? Did you run too fast?
Yeah,
Like, you can name your health event whatever you want.
Okay.
Like, ran too fast, didn't warm up, should have done what better.
PR
Like,
my 40.
right, whatever it was, right? So you start a health event in the app, right?
It
And
was worth it.
basically, as you're starting to like kind of unpack what's going on, you're putting all of your bills and your invoices from your experience with your health, your medical providers or whatever, into a health event. We're responsible, and I'm going to use this word in quotations, for deductible, because it's the thing that we understand to be the most,
Sure.
right?
Okay.
You have a health event deductible of $500. That's your responsibility, just to assume that you're going to pay the first $500 for this health event. Now, anything else that stems from that, right? That's what starts getting submitted to the crowd for funding.
Okay.
So, MRI, PT, red light therapy, whatever it would be to fix your hamstring, right? Surgery, God forbid.
PRP.
Like the length doesn't matter.
Okay.
However long it takes for you to
PRP covered.
Mm.
Wow. Like, it's not covered. What was the term you used?
Funded.
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 There we go.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
We got to fix our terminology.
But
Yeah.
this
I understand.
same principle holds true for any type of health event, right? So this is true for
Okay.
a hamstring pull. It's also true for a car
Chemo.
crash, a
Yep.
chemo that has you
Yeah,
in the hospital.
chemo.
A mother
for
giving birth.
6 months.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you watching the thing?
Yeah.
So the question is, does this cover births?
Yeah, it does.
Right.
Yeah. So we need to look at pregnancy as a health event from, confirmation of,
Right.
the
Pregnancy.
situation.
Inception.
Right. Through
Situation. We got a situation,
Aren't you-
guys.
Aren't you a mom?
Yeah, I am. I have 2 kids. I've been through that situation.
She's
a
been in
couple
this
times.
situation.
Through all those doctor's appointments into 6 months postpartum. And I think that that's really important part. The member commitment for pregnancy is $3,000. That's the one exception for the deductible. But it would cover it would fund all your OB appointments if you needed pelvic floor therapy during or after.
Which is amazing.
After.
So it's up to 15 months of complete kind of care through the pregnancy, 9 months, right? And then 6 months postpartum.
All right. And so my wife gets pregnant.
Yep.
We've been a member. Doesn't matter how long.
No.
But we immediately owe another $3,000. How
When
does
that-
that work?
You can start putting your bills in the health
The-
event.
the-
They're just
the-
only going to reimburse you
after 3,000.
Yeah. So it's like,
Okay.
if you can decide when you want to pay that. You can pay, whatever. It's all going to exist in one spot. And it's like, if the total for that entire pregnancy experience was $30,000, you're going to get 27,000 back.
Got it.
So when you decide to like pay the delta, is kind of up to you.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And all right. And so how do you, and this is just my like pessimistic mind.
Yeah.
How does community care snuff out like a health event versus a different health event that they're kind of like smushing together? I mean, you're going to cross those bridges. You know what I mean? Of like, here's a hamstring. And it's like, well, because of my hamstring, my foot broke. You know what I mean? Or like how? What is that? What does that look like?
It's documentation. Like you are giving your blessing, right? You're allowing, they have you sign an affidavit, so that they can go ahead and actually interact and engage with your medical team so that the records are accurate. What you're being billed for is actually accurate, because believe it or not, on the flip side of that, the likelihood that you are being overcharged or overestimated
is
for
100%.
your care is really what you want to leverage them to
Right.
do, so that they can say, no, this is actually supposed to be a third of the cost of what you're charging me.
And so that's twofold, right? Like, it's, if you end up not reaching that deductible, you save money, right?
Yeah.
And
Totally.
this team is doing that for you.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
Without any input from you.
Nope.
Like, you're just like, here's this stuff.
Which everybody should really get excited about. That we
yeah.
have healthcare lawyers and attorneys who used to work for these health insurance
Yeah, of
companies
course.
that now take great joy in being on the other side and say,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
we're
Totally.
going to give you a
They're
third.
just
Oh
totally
yeah.
full
And
of
so,
shit.
we were talking last night with the boys about Taylor, being uninsured or whatever. And like, I've gone through some pretty huge health things. My first one, like, I think I had, I was 20. And so I was still eligible for like catastrophic insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And like that bill was like $300,000. I was in the hospital for like 8 days.
Yeah.
And so I still had a deductible. It was like 15 grand, but 15 grand would have basically been $300,000.
Right.
Well,
And so, at that point, they're just trying to get 15 grand from me. Right.
Yep.
And so insurance was involved. So I was kind of limited, but I was still able, because I had Pell Grant. I was fortunate to actually have a little bit of liquid cash as a young kid from grants and et cetera. And so I was like, hey, what if, this, like, I don't know, blood test or whatever specialist that saw me, which was every single specialist in the hospital, I'm fairly confident, was like, hey, here's this $5,000 bill. I was like, what if I give you $2,000 right now? Right. Like, I've been paying on it a couple months, and every single person was like, done.
Yeah.
Right. And so that 15, I was able to get down to like 7 or 6.
Yes.
And that's what they're doing. Correct.
Yes.
Except even before that, before any money is paid out, with no, like, different bill or whatever, but it's basically like wiggling the cash flow at them. And so
if it's elective and planned, it's before. If
Right.
it's an
Emergent,
accident,
yeah.
emergent,
then
it
it's
happens
after. So
the
it's just
fact.
kind of timing on the event. But yeah, and I also think that probably brings up a good point too, is that I think we just need to understand that there's a difference in the way that you are charged for care, whether you are insured or not,
Oh,
because there
100%.
are contracts, right, between insurance companies and healthcare systems that dictate what that healthcare system is going to charge you for an ultrasound.
Right.
And it's 3, 4, 5x what an individual would pay, right, to go in and get that same type of procedure. Theoretically, or in some instances, those healthcare systems cannot negotiate prices with you through your insurance when
Correct.
you're responsible for your part of your large
Right.
deductible.
Yep.
Otherwise, they break contract.
Right.
When you're self-pay, when you're a self-insured, person, they can negotiate fucking all up and down.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, everyone is immediately.
You completely regain control of that situation.
Oh, yeah,
right.
100%.
Because you are the one that's saying, okay, it is me who is going to pay you.
Mhm.
And the likelihood, here's the other thing too, they're betting that most people, because they are in a system that they are financially struck down, right, with insurance and stuff, that they're actually not going to recoup a lot of that money,
Yeah.
right? Because there's going to be people like you that had a really high deductible that can't pay it, so they don't.
Right. Oh, yeah, for
so
sure.
they'll take your $1,000, otherwise
100%.
they're
It's like
writing off
collection agency.
$15,000.
Yeah, it's like collection agency.
Yeah, and I think the one other thing that I want to bring up here before we forget, and there's a lot of us in the community that are in this situation, right, is that medical debt is the number one driver of bankruptcy in the United States, right? Of the 500,000+ bankruptcies that happen, over 330,000 of those are driven by medical debt, right? These medical bills that we can't pay. There's no reason why anybody in our community should be in that situation right
100%.
now from a catastrophic standpoint. And as you know all too well, you can be young, you can be completely healthy, and something can happen very quickly that can change the situation before you know it, and you don't want to be in that situation.
Right. Yeah, it's for those out there, and just I've had a pretty extensive background with like dealing with medical bills. There is always benefit, even if you can't do community care, like of being cash pay and being totally uninsured.
Yeah.
And right now, with where premiums are and the direction that they're moving, and maybe you don't qualify for any type of like assistive aid or subsidy, make sure you don't qualify for subsidy, because if you end up making more money in the year, you got to pay the subsidy back, which I had to on my taxes one year.
Oh
I was so mad.
Yeah.
So mad. And so, like you said, you hold all the power.
Yep.
And if you're going into anything uninsured, every hospital has that bill. And like, here's your cash price. And it's immediately 50%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like that's
At
the stand.
least.
It's the 50. Here's 50% of your whatever bill. And you're like, oh, wow. And then if you do the basic math of like what your premiums have been for 4 years, and then you've only had one event, that event might cost $10,000 cash. Well, you've definitely paid out more than 10 grand over a few years.
So I'll share my experience only because though I was one of the first ones on community care before it was even a thing, although Crowd Health was around for a while, but I can tell you I was paying about $1,400 a month in premiums, right, in years past. So I still put $1,400 away in my bank account every month, right, for the last year. And I now have my own health savings account of close to $9,000, right? Because I've paid less than $500 to community care over the last year. I've got my wellness visits. I got, a breast ultrasound for my, normal checkup. Like I've done things. I've had a PT, like paid cash for it. I still have shit ton of, you know what I mean, that I saved not going to premiums and got, all my health care.
Mm-hmm.
The chat wants to say, imagine Dr. Tom getting out, rear end you and hops out of his car with that shirt.
It could happen.
That was a good one.
It could happen. Don't be that guy.
Yeah. Don't stop short. I'm coming up.
I move.
Okay. I think I railroaded that direction. You said you were going to go somewhere else.
That was great. No, because of your experience can ask questions that I just like don't know too. And so that was awesome. And interestingly, I think like one of the points we talked about it last night on the show with the guys, but like, chronic illness, right? I don't love it, but like we've engineered ourselves into illness in a variety of different ways, right? From our crops to whatever it is. And so chronic illness is no longer for overweight, elderly individuals, whatever, right? Like it's for everybody.
Yeah.
Kids are having problems, CrossFitters that are like, we look good on the outside, whatever. And people who have been on the podcast are aware, I got 2 autoimmune diagnoses in the last couple of years due to mold exposure. And it was a journey to figure out what was going on and why I was sick and so on, right? But like that has nothing to do with the choosing to go to the gym, et cetera. Anyway, so point being, it's not exclusive and anything can happen. A car accident, of course, that we would never want to occur could occur at any given moment or something like that. How could that have been foreseen, right? Yeah, uninjured. Okay, that aside, my question is actually just to the doctor about like something that I find interesting. So you mentioned that on the blood work panel that is done, that is something that is not done outside of this bubble, typically the fasting insulin. We have a lot of athletes.
Nerd.
A lot of the athletes are eating for performance reasons.
Oh boy, here we go.
Did you know that he ranted about this like 3 days ago?
No.
Oh yeah.
We asked Jocelyn about it.
I'm a nutrition obsessed individual at this point because of its impact on healing from what made me sick, right? So it was already of interest, but it's a whole other level at this point, right? So anyway, I am curious what you are finding with working with athletes in this space. When you eat for performance, what do you see that happens there?
Yeah, I think it depends on how we define performance.
Okay.
But we work with professional athletes in many different types of sports.
Okay.
And the discussion that we will generally have around fueling for performance, at least in CrossFit terms, is that fitness and performance typically are not at the same location on the continuum.
Okay.
And that it's important from an athlete perspective to understand that you may be making a sacrifice for short, medium, and potentially even long-term fitness for performance in the now. But if that's how you make your paycheck, and this is what you're passionate about, and this is what you want to do, from my perspective as a medical care, provider, I just want to make sure you're making an informed decision.
Yeah.
And there may be some point where we cross a threshold where we really need to think about how we're fueling, and that, potentially a percentage point in performance is worth what we're going to gain in health by making some subtle adjustments. But, the foundation of the pyramid does not involve bags of candy, right? And we're all aware with that. But the games is an amazing, beautiful expression of what CrossFit can be.
Totally.
But these are separate things.
Right. And so the thing that you're offering is the ability to be aware before something is actually, because that's one of the things we talked about with Jocelyn as well, is just simply that the body has this really, really innate ability to heal once you've made some oopsies a lot of times, And so that's kind of one of the things I was asking her, and it's too individualized to make some sort of broad statement is what it sounded like based on that conversation. But like, say that someone has not paid attention to their blood work, has been eating the candy for performance for a long duration of time, and maybe they are in a position where some of those biomarkers are not looking great, right? So they look good till they look under the hood and like, oh shit, right? But the body also really wants to get right back to
homeostasis.
Yeah. And so like, I guess that's where when I was kind of pestering about that, it's like, well, this is too individualized to make a broad statement about. But
here's what I would say. This is I approach this as a judgment-free zone.
Mhm.
All of us, right, have the autonomy to make our own health decisions
Totally.
about what we're prioritizing in the moment and what we need to put first on our list of to-dos.
Yep.
Here's what I will say. If you are actively doing CrossFit, right, consistently and repeatedly, even if you have some mild metabolic dysfunction with elevations in your fasting insulin, you are going to be able to correct that so much and so much more quickly because of the skeletal muscle mass that you do have and the metabolic flexibility that hopefully you do have, that it more or less is going to be a non-issue. I mean, these are very subtle tweaks that you can change by how you're fueling, by the types of carbohydrates that you're taking in, by the distribution in your macros. Essentially, it is a non-issue for most people, right? Because we have a great glucose sink when it comes to skeletal muscle, right?
Right.
So for the most part, we're buff. Now, if a non-elite athlete was fueling and recovering in that way, it would not be the same type of discussion, right? And when an athlete stops training and they decrease their muscle mass to that degree, right, they aren't going to be able to tolerate that sort of macro distribution in the same way.
Sure.
So the 60-minute athlete 5 days a week doesn't need to consume Sour Patch Kids in the middle of their 6-minute workout.
Like I said, this is a judgment-free zone.
It's not a judgment-free zone. Not on this channel. Absolutely not.
Well,
People don't need fucking candy.
You nailed it down.
When they work out 30 minutes a day.
Yes.
Say it.
Right.
Say it.
It can be, it can be judgment free, and you can also informed, I think, is a big part of it, right? And so the awareness around this, I think, is continuing to evolve as you guys are coming out and speaking, and as Jocelyn is speaking, and we're kind of getting back to that. Hey, the base of the pyramid is actually really relevant, and we actually need to be relentless about it as well as push your knees out.
What differentiates us from everybody else that is in the functional fitness space is that this is a comprehensive health methodology, right? This is a way of life, and it is much more than just throwing a barbell around, right? The foundation of the pyramid is nutrition. We were talking about this the other day. If you went into an affiliate today, right, and you asked somebody to write out the pyramid for you or tell you fitness in 100 words, how good of a job do you think that our affiliate members would be able to do at rattling that off for us, right? Define fitness for me.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, for sure.
It would not, they
wouldn't know. Most people wouldn't know that we defined it, and they definitely don't even know that we have like the 100 words.
And for us as members of the community, as affiliate owners, like that is a huge area of opportunity for us. Because the reason why I am so passionate, right, about CrossFit is it being the true solution, right, to the world's most vexing problem, as Greg so eloquently put it, is because it is comprehensive and it is all encompassing. And once people start to understand that and say, oh, the workouts are amazing, the community's amazing, but it's not just that. Like, it's all of these things together that separate us and make this a unique and comprehensive solution. We need to do a better job of communicating that.
Yeah, and that is entirely on our shoulders. Anybody who is aware of this, it's now on our shoulders to convey that message and to broaden other people's awareness and to give them access to those tools and all of that in a non-judgmental way, right?
Correct. And we talked a little bit about this last night too. I think actually probably on the heels of the podcast that you had with Matt and the team and all that stuff, and kind of understanding what role affiliate owners can really take ownership now in terms of, yes, they're in their affiliate and their coaches, right? And they have the ability right now with resources that are easily accessible to really provide avenues for autonomy and advocacy for, health informed choices and all this stuff. But I fully believe that, like, it is our responsibility to make sure that we do this for our community, right? And without putting undue pressure on, how hard it can be to be an affiliate owner. And there's a lot of shit that you got to deal with, and there's bandwidth issues and burnout, and I totally get that. But when you have a clear path to a better way to provide health and care to people in your community, like, it is our responsibility to deliver it as affiliate owners in this space, and to take the methodology and make sure that everybody understands the full scope of its power and potential, because that's how you continue to put service out for people to really change what their lives could be. And like, it's not small potatoes. Like, this is the shit. We need to go.
Right. Sure. We talk about this, right? About the fact that CrossFit redefined, fitness in a way that had never been done and still hasn't been done, right? 20, 25 years ago. We now have the same opportunity to do that for health and healthcare in the United States, right? Yeah. We have all the tools and resources to hit the opt-out button, to step outside of the dysfunctional disease economy and show our country and the world how it can be done in a functional way. We have more than enough money and resources to take care of everybody that needs care. If we, get aligned in similar ways and spend 3 to 5% on administrative overhead as opposed to 20% that we have in our healthcare economy, which goes to people taking value out of the healthcare system who don't provide anything in return.
Yep. Sure.
The sick care system. And if you want to hear about how the affiliates and the medical society and all of that, like this was aspirational, this was vision casting, but last night's episode with Souza was insane. What he, of course this wasn't in practice at this point, but it was a really cool thing that he drew up about how to
triangulate it all.
Oh my
it is in
gosh.
practice though.
It is-
I
it
mean, we've been
is,
doing
right?
it for
Yeah,
years.
this is what
There
we're
are
doing. Like
there are
what he
affiliates that
said,
do this.
Yes.
like it was it, but it was just like
scaling, I
doing
suppose,
it
was
like with CrossFit HQ at the helm of
Yes.
all of it.
Yeah.
Right. It's like if you are an affiliate, this is what we do, and every affiliate is an office, right? And like that's the
we are advocating and working very hard and very well and cooperatively with the team at HQ. I mean, just
Cool.
look at the most recent campaigns that came out, right? Where
Yeah.
there's been a focus on, what it means to look at CrossFit, as fitness and as health, right?
Sure.
In terms of the methodology and stuff. So, I think we're getting there. And we're gonna keep pushing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think very similar to how CrossFit grew, right? Someone did it. Everyone's used to working out for 2 hours. And they're like, oh, it was a great workout. But then they do Fran. Like, I worked out for 7 minutes and I've hands down never been this sort, right? And so this like boom occurred, right? And this word of mouth and this cult like following and support. And then Greg being this leader and eloquent and expressive and like just getting people to just like die on his word, right? Maybe live on his words, probably the more appropriate term. Obviously that boom has cooled, and like that like drink the Kool-Aid feel is like not anymore. We've kind of like found our baseline, and I think we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
I really, really feel like this is going to have this same sort of like you said, like this hockey stick. Right? And it's because like right now, even the most tinfoil hatties, right? And not to say that like this isn't, but it is, right? Like it's like insurance is bad, and like it's not the total premise, but like it's kind of it, right? And
No,
it's
it
like
is.
there's a better way. Yes, but that's not the best way to sell it in general. But like it is, there's insurance can be good for some, and there's certain situations, etc. And this is obviously a great opportunity, but there's going to be a lot of people that are still skeptical and unsure, and then they're like, oh, I sort of know one person, but nothing. They haven't gone through a thing yet.
Yeah.
They haven't seen it in action.
Yep.
Right? Like, oh, I saw CrossFit. Yep. Looks weird. I don't know. It's kind of seems dangerous. And then their neighbor did it, and their neighbor now looks like Margo Alvarez after 22 years of doing CrossFit. Like, oh, okay, wow, that's really good. And now I'm going to join. And so I think more people are going to see it, and it's just going to multiply, right?
Yep.
Instead of one, like Ben just joined, not to throw his personal health out there, but he doesn't care, and like as soon as it's appropriate for my family, like we will 100% join. And Taylor's going to join, and Bryson joined. And so like all of that's going to basically, right, like,
and I've been self-pay, but I'll fix this.
Right, exactly. And so, and
because I've been angry about it, so I've been uninsured.
Just to be fair, it is still self-pay. It is self-pay.
Right,
You're
right.
part of a community that supports
it is
you.
self-pay that is just going to support you on the back end. And so it's just going to replicate and replicate and replicate and replicate. And so instead of 1 to 2, it's going to go 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16. And it's just going to cut off one head, two heads, take its place. And that's how it's going to grow. And so I think we're going to see this. You said we're at 13,000 for the whole thing. Do you know what the CrossFit community care number is?
I mean, we grew 23% last month.
Right.
Last month.
Yeah, last month.
So I think we're going to start to see, you are for sure in a year's time from whatever it is right now. I think it's a guaranteed 10x of whatever that number is. Like, it just doesn't make any, it's just going to keep doing that. And I'm so stoked for it.
I mean, here's what I would say about this too, really quick before we leave. This is still CrossFit. Right. This is about providing the tools and resources, assets that we need around the methodology to push it out and help more people,
right,
and make us more self-sufficient and independent, and not support disease profiteering.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. This is nothing new or different. Like this upcharge is using CrossFit as the tool now to do more good in the world.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I apologize because when I said Souza's thing, I understand it is already in practice. It was more so like this is where we can take this,
Yeah.
I saw the fight at the bar.
Job.
I saw the fight at the bar. You guys were at each other's throats.
Don't steal this. I think it's really important. Like we are very good at identifying problems and talking about them as a community. Like when it comes to bitching, like we are really outstanding. Like we excel. Our mantra, right, is less talking, more doing, right? And I want people to know that this is not theoretical. It is real. You can start doing it today. You can put all of these pieces into your affiliate and start bringing the benefits to your community now. It doesn't need to wait.
Read that.
And there are resources to be able to if any of this, if it's not abundantly clear by the time we get through here, there are so many clear resources all in one hub to go have that conversation. You want me to read a comment?
Yeah, that's on the screen.
Oh, I kind of want to get my L1 just to be a part of this.
That's 100% it. And so like to combine,
mic drop.
Let's
go, Ed.
What Sousa said and what you guys are doing, like that's it. And financially,
it
just
makes
to be
sense.
Clear, financially, it is still not even close. That $1,000, right, is not even close. Plus your, whatever, however much a month, 200 or 400, or family plan a month is at its worst will never even be within 20% of even just a simple year of premiums for most insurance
it's for
plans.
all of us. Like if you love CrossFit and you're passionate about it, most of us we should do our L1.
The
all insight that it
learn.
gives you into the methodology and understanding how comprehensive it is and what Greg actually made, like it is mind blowing, and it will reconnect you with what you do every day in a way that you do not understand if you haven't done it. It's extremely important.
Yeah, and you literally just get to hang out for 2 days with these seminar staff members that you aspire to be like, like you get to spend time with these individuals that you look up to. Oh, and by the way, then you get access to this.
Yeah, then you get access. Yeah, I mean, you go ahead.
No, I mean, just,
crazy.
What so I think about in life, you were talking about like it's our responsibility, I feel like when I've been given access to a tool that has radically transformed my quality of life, I don't have a choice but to talk about it. Like I literally don't have a choice, right? Right. Yes. Which is why we are obnoxious and we're here, but for me, I'm, this is a good little, I'm 4.5 years sober today. Right. So I was given access to tools to get and stay sober. Right. Yeah. And so I talk about that a lot, and I'll just plug that if anybody wants to talk about sobriety. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. 4.5. I mean, it's 4.5 years, but either way. Yeah.
One day at a time.
Totally. Yeah. And so like, I'm obnoxious about talking about that. Right. Because that was a different lifetime. And I don't have to be there anymore, And so it's like it's a different thing that's the same thing, right? So anyway, it's just like I guess an encouragement to those who are involved. Like if it really was that transformative, like do you have another choice but to be a loudmouth about it? I don't think so.
So there's this. It's not a catch-22. I don't want people to have health events for me to then be able to share the effectiveness and like the amazing, product experience that is community care. But I will say that we have a lot of folks that are starting to share their experiences. We just had a woman that just gave birth, right? So she did her whole pregnancy through community care. Had an amazing home birth experience, like got sent newborn presents as from the community care team, like as congratulations, like just,
nice.
and stress-free, enjoyed it. It was very clear. There was no surprises. Now, juxtapose that against a family that just joined community care because of the crappy experience they had with the birth of their child, because they were excited that they were going to give birth in the insurance system in January and be like, cool, I'm going to hit my deductible this year because I got to give, birth to my kid or whatever. And then, I don't have to worry about anything else that happens. Except the OB wasn't part of their network, and they didn't know that until after they had the baby.
Right, the OB doesn't bill till the end.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they had no idea that this entire thing was happening. And, not only did they not hit their deductible, but they still had that. And then they had to figure out how to pay cash for, a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right. One more question. What if you take the L1 but fail the test? Still eligible?
Yes.
I don't understand.
If you fail the L1 test? Well, you're going to take it again, but you're still eligible.
Eligible to be
join community care?
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Great.
Also, you're not going to fail. Okay, go.
Yeah, I'll be okay.
100%. Yeah, you will pass for sure. Parents' pregnancy, we had we switched insurance plans in the middle, and I went to basically Blue Cross's top plan, and she was paying, I don't know, at this point, we're still young, and this was 3 years ago now, so the premiums hadn't taken that hockey stick turn, and it was $600 or $700 a month just for hers because I was uninsured at the time. But we did it and I just priced out what it was going to be, based on this plan and the deductible and it covered, and it did everything it was supposed to do, but I still had a deductible, and that deductible I finished paying off those monthly, because it's always no interest, which is kind of nice. And if there's going to be one nice thing right about it, I just finished paying that off like, I don't know, 2 months ago. It was like, oh, this is done, which now I have mine, which was all lumped into one. And I was like, oh, this dropped, my payment got lower. And so even though I had this like top plan with no deductible, like it kicked in immediately, right? I still had like requirements because of how pregnancy is categorized. So even though there's always a way, they're going to get more money out of you, and take that same money, like you just said, right? Oh man, I wish I could have done an HSA for the years before Perrin was insured by her job. That'd be great.
I think
That'd
we're so used to it being dysfunctional and complicated because it is that administrative complication built into the system that
100%.
allows them to extract money that people are like, I can't be this simple.
Right.
Right. But when you simplify it, it's not that expensive.
Yeah, 100%.
It doesn't have to be.
And this conversation, which I will have with all of my family at some point, and they're like, what happens when you do this? I'm like, this, they cover it. And she's like, oh, I don't know. And so it'll be an interesting conversation. She doesn't watch the show, so which is fine. It's probably a good thing. And it'll be a good conversation, especially for our extended family that isn't in fitness at all. Right? It's like, here's this, and we have an example of her mom's husband, and so still pays for his 2 kids that are under, and his ex-wife, and it's like $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't even understand what that means. I'm like, why don't you just not pay it?
Yeah.
And keep the cash.
Yeah.
And he's like, what happens if like there's that dollar amount?
Yeah.
There's nothing that can happen. Nothing.
You're going to be able to negotiate it down.
You can negotiate whatever.
Right.
Right. Like, like, what if I get cancer and chemo? And I'm like, you're going to pay thousands upon thousands upon thousands anyways, because you're going to run out of money in your insurance plan regardless.
Right. And it's played out over time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so I've always been, like this cash pay, like uninsured is fine. And it's probably the better option for if you're even a little healthy. Right. And now we have this option where it's like, hey, now it's basically that we have this sourcing, this funding, this backing, these bulldogs that are just going to do everything that they can do to make sure that even the deductible that you are paying is going to, the buy-in, member commitment that you are paying is going to be as low as possible. It's just knives. It just doesn't make sense, but I'm so excited because it does, and it's going to be the thing. And it's gonna hockey stick, and it is. Everyone.
It literally already is. They just grew by 23% in 30 days.
Everyone here. Yeah. 90% of everyone in this building is on it in 2 years for sure. If they
even that long
have an opportunity. Some people have other jobs where it's like full. They have insurance and it's fully covered. Their job pays for all of it. Right
now,
like
but that's we can go down the rabbit hole about what the theoretical implications of the system is going to do over time, right? And it's going to be even harder for employers to keep plans that do any sort of benefit for their employees where they're not putting more and more cost on the employee themselves, right? And the reason for that is, it's the way that insurance companies make money, and they're capped at the percent that they're allowed to take from premiums. So the only way that they can keep improving their profit is to make sure that premiums keep going up. And now healthier people are coming out of the insurance system, which means only the sick people are in the insurance system. So now they're accounting for that. So now premiums are going up even more. Like, implode. Right.
Yeah.
Like
you don't want to be the last one.
Right. Like opt out now. Right. Like come out of it.
Yeah.
And this was the diabolical aspect, right, of the ACA was the MLR. And that is what Jen's alluding to, right? That it capped profits as a percentage of the premium. And now premiums only go up, right? If expenses go up, and that entails everything getting more expensive and generally people getting more sick. Right. So they are disincentivized for you to use the system less, or for it to be less expensive, or for you to use less drugs, or be in a hospital less, because they make more money off of the premium. As the entire cost for the society rises.
What a crazy concept. That's wild.
Yep.
On that note, you guys got to get back.
That was a real Debbie Downer. Can we pick it up a little bit?
No. I mean, I think it's good, right?
Well,
I think it just shows. Go ahead.
I told it yesterday with Jocelyn, but I'll just tell you real quick because I don't know, you're an MD, and it was really cool last year as I continued to go downhill with the autoimmune shit show, that I knew that the Western medicine solutions that I was learning about for my problems were not desirable to me. And so I avoided that system outright. And I traveled and something occurred and I got so sick so fast that I did need to go to an urgent care. And so I did. And I was just like praying on the way there. Please give me a doctor that will just listen. I'm about to tell them this story, you know, and I just want a temporary solution from you, and, you know, whatever. Anyway, and I get there, and it's a white-haired gentleman who's been in practice for like 40 years, and he looks actually somewhat, he appears like he's not sick. I don't know.
Okay.
And so I explained what was going on, and he believed me. And then he said, I'll give you a solution for now, and also do not come back here because we cannot help you. And the solutions that are available from us will make you sicker. And so that was what he said.
God bless him for being honest.
But it was
That's amazing.
remarkable.
That's that's wild.
I couldn't believe that
Yeah,
occurred
for
within
sure.
that system. And so anyway, I had a lot of gratitude, and he just said, you need to work with the functional medicine team. And I already knew that, but I was trying to be the, I can piece it together person. And spoiler alert, I really needed to look at my gut health and things like that. And we've made great headway. Anyway, that's it. That's like a better story. I don't know, something.
I like that
I
one.
like
That's
that.
better.
Yeah.
than this one.
Good.
Yeah, or
That's a
I
good
think it's
one.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
a good one.
Thank you for the work that you guys are doing.
Yeah, 100%.
This is remarkable work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, amazing.
Thanks for sharing it. So
Cool.
appreciate it.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. We'll be back in 10 minutes or 14 minutes because we don't do anything else except talk shit online and try and educate people with really important stuff. This is a really good thing. Sign up if you haven't. If you're considering it, look at it. CrossFit or communitycare.com. No,
CrossFit Medical Society.com.
CrossFitMedicalSociety.com.
Every option is on the website. You can
There.
decide what lane
Don't
you
we have
want
a
to go
code
down.
or something?
WODprep.
Is it a
Yeah,
code?
yeah.
Is it a code?
Yeah, it's a code. Like if
Okay.
you want to opt into community care and you go through the enrollment process, if you put WODprep in the promo code, your
What do we
first
get?
3 months will be $99 per month. So they
Oh,
actually
nice.
save. You also
What
get
do
a
I
smile.
get?
You get some money.
Oh, sweet.
There's a referral
Or
system.
Ben gets it. Use code
CJ,
WODprep.
you get nothing.
I know. That's fine.
Actually, anyone who joins the podcast, we'll slide CJ a couple.
There you go.
Sick.
Very good.
Yeah, guys, code WODprep. Just look it up. If you're thinking about it, go dig more. There's consultations
Yeah, you
available.
can
You can
schedule call.
schedule call. They can lay it out even more. Consider it, do it. If you're ever unsure, if you ever had a bad experience, which is probably most of us watching, it's the future for sure. Like they said, don't be the last one. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you in 13 minutes.
Vicky said, dang, I should have waited 5 minutes. Oh no.
Yeah.
Sorry, Vicky.